Welcome to G.I.Joe Chronicles, Outpost Edition.
I trust your mission was equally well executed.
I want a stone cold righteous attention.
Militarily speaking, it's only fair to say that Cobra Commander is a world-class buffoon.
Hello, troops. I am Jim Meal, also known as Jim the Joe Junkie, and welcome to G.I.Joe Chronicles Outpost Episode 20, where we chronologically discuss the toys, comics, cartoons, and many other aspects of G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, which is my favorite pop culture subject. Without getting too bogged down in the details, just my co-hosts and I having a conversation and reminiscing. And of course, that means I'm not alone. And joining me today is Jarrod Alberich, the yard sale artist, a.k.a. Death Probe. Thanks for once again returning to the Outpost, Jarrod, so that we can discuss some great action figures.
Yeah, man.
I almost said and vehicles.
No, we're just doing figures tonight.
Yeah.
Just doing figures. I brought a friend with me.
You did?
I did.
That looks familiar.
Some guy I know sent me a 12-inch Destro that I went ahead and ordered a tie-dye vest for so he can be an Orsted figure. What I want to do is, if any of the listeners to either your Joe program or mine or whatever want to contribute to the outfits of Orsted, you just let me know at Yard Sale Artist X, Facebook, Instagram, or you can email me, contact@longboxcrusade.com. Because right now he's barefoot, which is on brand for him. But I thought maybe if somebody had some sandals, he's got long black pants. Maybe we need like khaki capri length pants or something. If you think you have a 12-inch doll accessory, basically a Ken doll, from Barbie, that would be good for Orsted, at Yard Sale Artist X, Facebook, or Instagram, or contact@longboxcrusade.com, and I'll tell you exactly how you can send that to me, and I will keep upgrading Orsted via the donations of our wonderful listeners.
So are you looking for just clothing or accessories such as, some paraphernalia?
Anything Joe's, as they say. Yeah, paraphernalia. Well, actually, don't mail me any paraphernalia. I don't want to go to jail or anything, but I got an Orsted doll right here in my hands.
That is crazy. That's good, Jarrod.
Well, you kicked it off.
You have to thank George. He found it on Marketplace and, hey, go get this. So I went and got it.
Thank you, George. You're the man.
I'm telling you, if you want anything found, he's the guy. He'll find it for you.
George, I need Salma Hayek.
Don't we all? I assume that's your special mission then.
It doesn't get more special than that.
No, you're right. It doesn't. I am not really a whole lot Joe related. I just came back from a camping trip with a family. My problem is I'd like to do all kinds of different things. I have the 3 3/4 customizing I do, but I also like to do some classified dioramas, and I'm kind of setting that up, kind of figuring that out. It takes me a little bit longer to do than our guest, because I've seen his stuff on Facebook, and it's amazing. And that guest is Matt Poiso, Serpymatt. Thank you for joining Jarrod and myself. And how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Jim and Jarrod.
Don't forget Orsted, too. I think he's going to make some visits today.
Oh, I have plans for Orsted.
I saw Matt's eyes light up when I was like, I need accessories.
I have a 3D printer, sir.
Oh, my goodness. We are off to the races. What do you think he needs first? Like a hat?
He's getting some paraphernalia for sure.
Welcome to the All Orsted Show. Jim just thought we were going to come in here and talk about figures. I'm going to go back on mute. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, again, thank you, Matt, for joining us. So what is what's your G.I. Joe origin? Did you start with the toys, comics, cartoons, something else that brought you into G.I. Joe?
So basically for me, along with almost everybody else, the toys were my first thing into G.I. Joe. I still remember the 82, 83. I think the first 2 figures I got a Cobra Trooper or a Cobra Officer, and I got a Flash, and I got them from the little local pharmacy when you could get them on a spinner rack. Getting those, I was hooked. And a couple years later, I saw the cartoon. The cartoon is my definitive G.I. Joe. Even though I read the comics and everything now, the toys and the Sunbow cartoon are what I always go to for G.I. Joe.
So my guess is that you are more Duke and Scarlet than Snake Eyes and Scarlet.
I am not a Duke fan. at all.
I was going to say your answer depicts how much longer you're going to be on the show.
That's right. Yeah, I was
just
watching.
saying.
I was watching. Like, he's not big on Duke, and I've been on record to say I'm not either until Devil's Due did more with him.
I will agree with you there, but Sunbow Duke, no, don't care.
He's too much of a Boy Scout.
When it boils down to like, you can keep a capture count of your main hero, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
But
Yeah,
when it comes to like Duke and Scarlet or Snake Eyes and Scarlet, I like Snake Eyes and Scarlet, even though I'm not a big Snake Eyes fan either.
the story is just a little bit better, more believable, I think.
Is it legal to like G.I. Joe and not be a big Snake Eyes fan?
I am a Cobra fan, Jarrod.
Oh, okay. I gotta say, Storm Shadow second version of the figure might be the best ninja figure they ever made.
oh, without a doubt. I will not argue with you on that one at all.
Snake Eyes 2 and Storm Shadow 2 are mwah.
Yes.
I'm going to give a hot take here.
Gotcha.
I prefer Snake Eyes version 3 out of the other ones.
That's dual knives on chest, isn't it? Yeah, he's cool. No, I won't fight you on that. Did he come with a timber, though? Because, like, coming with a timber was like,
The second one had the timber. It was a marked step up from the version 1.
They intended for it to be a cool figure, not just a mistake like the first one.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Matt. So have you been on any special missions lately?
Well, kind of, you mentioned already, but like one of my special missions that I've been doing since the start of the year is like every day I'm taking a toy picture, be it really in depth or really quick. But lately I've had like a huge backlog of figures I needed to open. So I kind of have combined those two. Like I'll open a new figure every day and that's my picture of the day. And a lot of that has been some G.I. Joe classified stuff, but I've opened them all now until probably later this week and more come in.
Yeah, I've seen those and they look great. I really like them.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So as we discussed previously, we are going to be discussing a smaller grouping of toys, whether it's figures or vehicles, but this will allow us to have a deeper conversation of the figures or vehicles. That is just a fancy way of saying that it will allow us more time to brag about all the figures we have or had, even if they were obtained by questionable methods. So with the introduction and fine print out of the way, let's roll right into our first segment that we call That Figures.
It's here, the G.I. Joe collection. G.I. Joe from Hasbro.
This episode, we will be discussing the G.I. Joe Team figures of 1985. Whenever you're talking about people's favorite years, 1985 is almost always on the list and many times in the top spot. And many of these figures are in people's top 10. This is the first year that Hasbro introduced the ball neck to the figure construction, adding to the already superior posability of the G.I. Joe figures over the figures of the Battle Far, Far Away. But there were a few stragglers that still had the original swivel neck. The Joes added some needed support characters to the team, more environmental specialists, a barefooted stranger, and arguably one of the best leaders of the Joe team. Oh, and who can forget the mysterious stranger in black?
Yes, indeed. Anyway, here at the Outpost, we will discuss each of the new figures that were released in the year that we are covering, and this year it is 1985. We'll talk about their code names and specialties, their file names, maybe some statements from their file cards, brief descriptions of the figures. This information is derived from the figures file card. The stories and information that made up the file cards reshaped these plastic action figures into characters that we could relate to and would begin to immerse us in a vast world that would continue to grow. We will also be using a combination of 3djoes.com, yojo.com, the book, The Ultimate Guide to G.I. Joe and Creating G.I. Joe by Dan Klingensmith. Before we go over the details of the figures, why don't we share some general memories we have surrounding these 1985 figures? We will start with Matt. What memories do you have of the 1985 figures?
I look at that list of the 85 figures, and we'll be getting into them shortly. For me, it's all about like Revenge of Cobra and the Pyramid of Darkness, and seeing them slowly appear on the TV screen and going, I haven't seen that toy yet. I need that toy now. And then going to Walmart and digging through the pegs, trying to find it, looking at the back of the card, coming soon. Yes, okay, that one's coming soon. I need that one now. And then it really opened up for me, like being able to kit bash and customize them as a kid.
Nice. I also think back on 1985. They're in the late 1900s when I was collecting these G.I. Joes. And
40 years ago.
I know, 40. When I look at the 85 Joes, this is where it feels like it's complete, even though there's a lot more to come. Does that make sense? Like all your base level Joes are now there. There's plenty of great Joes still to come. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, in a weird way, is like if it just stopped here, that'd be just fine. It's just fine. Although there's plenty more cool stuff to come. But like if you had to cut it, I'd be like, all right. And I think it probably goes back to what Matt was saying about the cartoon, because it feels like this is the cartoon era. A lot of the figures here were cartoon guys. And maybe that's why it feels almost frozen in time, because the cartoon made copious use of like Alpine, Dreadnoks, Lady J, Flint, Shipwreck. I could just read them all if you want me to, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's why it feels like the most complete, because this is the cartoon group.
That's why I can't cut it off till after 86.
And I'm okay with that too. Yeah, I like this is as far, like as lean as I would cut that piece of meat is right here. This is as lean as I could possibly cut it. But no, I'm not going to fight you. There's still plenty of cool stuff to come. I mean, there's great figures that are going to come out decades from now. So, you know.
That's why we keep getting them.
You know, I have been avidly collecting the Super 7 O-Ring Reaction Pluses. And man, that has been, Matt, I know you've been loving it. They just came out with Cobra Law stuff.
I have 2 new Serpentors thanks to it.
Welcome to Super 7 Cast. I'm your host, Jarrod. I got Jim and Matt here. Over to you, Jim. Jim, let's go back on topic. 1985 goes. What do you think?
1985, like both of you, when I look at that, I look at the cartoon. That is the cartoon. I wasn't collecting the comic book at the time.
Not collecting the comic in 85?
Well,
it's not legal.
The only reason I knew it existed was because of commercials. But you look at these figures and they're cemented in my brain with the cartoon. And I, like Matt, going to the pegs going, oh my, this is when I really started collecting. This is when I got the Snowcat, the tactical battle platform, all these things. And this is when I was hot and heavy in collecting. A good couple of years. So let's get into these legendary characters. And I will start with Airtight. File name, Kurt Schnurr. His primary military specialty is CBR, which is chemical, biological, and radiological warfare. His secondary military specialty, ordnance. His place of birth is New Haven, Connecticut. His grade was E4. Airtight is an unreformed practical joker. Sneezing powder, plastic barf, whoopee cushion, the whole bit. No prank is too low for him. You'd think that other Joes would hate his guts, but they don't, because when the bad guys escalate the firefight and start playing dirty, it's old Airtight who suits up and wades into the thick of it. Matt, do you have any memories or anything comment about Airtight?
Airtight's one I don't think I ever had as a kid, but I absolutely loved the design of it. So he was always high on my list of, can I trade for him? And I don't remember anyone having him. So when I finally found him a couple years ago, it's like, yes, finally.
Now, when I think of Airtight, the only thing, he was in the cartoon, but the one that I remember the most was at the Germ, where he piloted that needle spaceship into the Germ, and then he ended up blowing the thing up with apples or something. I think George and I covered that on an episode a while back.
And he's always in the closing credits too, with the Cobra Field balloons.
Yeah. So Jarrod, how about you?
Yeah, I dig Airtight. I don't remember if I had him as a kid or acquired him later. But yeah, much like Matt, he had such a unique look. He was always kind of on my list of like, yeah, Airtight. And then after serving and having to don NBC gear in not so cool climates, that sucks. So God bless Airtight for wearing that stuff all the time. That's all I got.
Was it a little stuffy?
Yeah, a little stuff.
All right. Jarrod, I believe you've got the next one.
I believe you are correct. And you might have mentioned this, or heck, I might have read it earlier, but I'm just now realizing that this list is Joe's. There's no Cobras here. Just saying.
Correct. We're going to cover the Cobras the next time,
gotcha.
Which I'm sure Matt would have preferred to have been on that one.
Yeah, he would have much rather. That's all right.
I got to get you out of your element before I get you into the 86 when I give you a Serpentor. So,
That's okay. I can respect that.
All right, my first go on this episode is going to be Alpine, who I'm just now reminded his name is Albert M. Pine.
So you got to read that one forward. You can't read the last name first. You
right? Yeah, Pine, first. Albert M. It's Alpine, and that, man, oh man, Larry was having a good time that day. I can tell you. His primary military specialty is mountain trooper, as you would guess, and secondary specialty is finance clerk. How about that? Handling the monies to pay for the Joes. His place of birth is Minidoka, Idaho. His grade is E4. Fun part of his file card says, every time Alpine scales a sheer cliff face, piton by piton, overcoming granite and gravity with muscle and persistence, he is symbolically climbing out of the quagmire of his past. That's why we send it up first on vertical assaults. He doesn't take to being knocked down too easily. What is in his sketchy past? Who knows? Alpine, again, he got a lot of love in the cartoon. He's a mountain climbing dude, and what's not to love? But Jim?
Yeah, well, as far as sketchy past, he was a finance clerk. So he might be, something to do with numbers. I don't know, maybe.
I see what's going on here.
His figure is great. I absolutely love his figure. The color scheme, all of the stuff that comes with him. I mean, he's got the backpack, the hook. And did you know that you can put that axe on his backpack?
Yes.
Okay. As a kid, I did not know that. It took me recollecting him to realize, hey, that's what that clip is for. Now, I remember when they went to that little town and they used his finance clerk as a kind of a backstory thing. I love how Devil's Due did that. And then there was one story in IDW where it was Alpine, Snake Eyes, what's her name?
Lady J.
No.
Scarlet.
The one that was in the video game.
Jinx. Pamela Anderson.
Helix. It was Snake Eyes, Alpine, and Helix. And they had to assault a Cobra base up on a mountain. They really showcased Alpine's battle skills. Matt, what do you got?
Alpine was always a fun one. Like you said, his colors, his design, and the unique accessories. Yeah, everybody had the guns, everybody had the backpacks, but now you have someone who can do some mountain climbing, and he can lend his gear to the next Joe figure and have them climb along with him. And for me, though, it always boils down to Alpine and Bazooka, the two-man comedy troupe in the Sunbow cartoons.
They were like the Beavis and Butthead of the Sunbow cartoon, kind of. They're feeding off of each other the whole time.
For sure.
Something we brought up. You don't think about it, but he's really is a environmental trooper. You got Dusty, you got Snow Job and Frostbite, Torpedo, but Alpine's really an environmental trooper. I mean, that's his specialty is the rocky crevices. That's where he would be. So
yeah, with the thinner air and stuff like that.
All right, Matt, I think you're up next.
All right, so for me, let's go on to Barbecue. Barbecue is a firefighter, and his file name is Gabriel A. Kelly. His primary military specialty is fireman. His secondary military specialty is infantry, and his place of birth was Boston, Massachusetts. So what they have to say about Barbecue is what you call your basic party animal. He can open bottles with his teeth, pick up quarters with his ears, and wrap his lips completely around the bottle of a quart Coke bottle. You may well ask how all this affects his function as a G.I. Joe firefighter. It doesn't. It simply makes him a more interesting fellow to have around. Also kind of makes me wonder, was he like a Dreadnought washout? Because those are like Dreadnought traits.
If it was grape soda, possible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, so he drank the wrong soda. So Dreadnoughts were like, nope, we can't have that guy.
They probably kicked him out just because they were like, "Oi, he's gonna go cause some havoc," and he's like, "Yeah, that's hot. Let me jump on my Harley and ride with you." And they're like, "No, we can't. No,
we can't deal with that accent, buddy.
You're gone. You're out." They leaned so hard into that in the cartoon.
Yes, although it did give us one of the best episodes ever. The Viper is coming.
It's coming. Okay, that's where you're going with this.
Jarrod, George, and I covered that episode of the Viper. That's one of the most memorable, as you said, Matt, of the series.
Oh, yeah. Like, barbecue, chilling, cooking them up food and everything, and all of a sudden, Cobra's on to us. So, like, I never had the barbecue figure, but it's a nice, unique look. He's got, like, the stark red, got the gear, and he's really set up to fight some fires. Jarrod, did you ever have barbecue?
I had barbecue yesterday for lunch. Wow, Jim saw it coming a mile away.
I knew as soon as I said that, I should have let me rephrase that. No, just let him have his moment.
Here he goes. Oh, jokes and jokes with Jarrod. Yes, I had barbecue. He's one of those guys that we mentioned this on the last Chronicles that dropped because it had Psych Out. And Matt, you were in the chat, I think, for that. We talk about how there's certain Joes that you could see across the room in a bin and you know who it is. He's that guy because he's orange, right? And I always thought that he made a great duo with, help me out, Jim, or Matt, the flamethrower guy.
Barbroil?
Blowtorch.
Blowtorch is who I was thinking of. He was yellow and red, right? Yellow and red.
Yep.
Yeah. I always thought they went together. I start the fires and I put the fires out. I thought that would have been a great dynamic. But anyway, Barbecue is a cool figure. And I think he's interesting because he kind of, to me, falls in the camp with Doc and Lifeline, and that he's not an offense Joe, more of a defense Joe, put the fires out. But it's definitely cool. Jim?
Yeah, I remember having him as a kid, picking him up specifically because of the utility aspect of it and the rescue aspect of him. I remember thinking, that's a cool looking axe. I remember having him as a kid partly because of the color, he stood out. And then, of course, from the cartoon, I liked him. I know I have him now. I have the Slaughter's Marauders version, which isn't a bad.
I kind of dig that one. Yeah, I kind of dig that one.
And then they did one for the Rise of Cobra. It was a Toys R Us exclusive. It was yellow and black, and that was pretty good colors too. As far as this version, it's the coloring. It's when Joe I don't think they're neon yet, but they were starting to head that way. You had Blowtorch in '84. Now you got Barbecue. You're starting to go that way a little bit.
I feel like there was a Slaughter's Marauders Barbecue Classified. I think I had him.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
It's not Slaughter's Marauders.
What is it on that one?
It's what do they call that team? They can't call it Slaughter's Marauders because of trademarks. Mad Marauders. Yeah. All right. I think it's back to me, and I get to do everybody's favorite missile specialist, Bazooka. File name, David L. Katzenbogen. Primary military specialty, armor defeating weapon systems. Secondary military specialty, tank driver. Place of birth, Hibbing, Minnesota. The subject is a decisive, fast thinker with all of the instincts of a natural survivor.
All right, someone didn't get the memo.
Somebody did get the memo. So, Jarrod, thoughts on Bazooka and that last statement?
Yeah, Bazooka wasn't he more? He was more the lovable goofball. He almost had the personality that Tripwire was supposed to have, right? In the cartoon,
yeah,
because Tripwire's file card was he was clumsy, and that's kind of Bazooka was kind of that bumbling oaf. And you know what? I'm guessing here, but it's probably just a product of that goofy ass football jersey that he wears. What is this? It's one of the weirdest decisions that they've ever made. People love to make fun of Psych Out, Bright Green, or whatever, but I'm this mofo showed up in a football jersey, right? So I could see where the cartoon people just looked at his design and was oh, this is a dumb jock. But man, he was still uncoordinated, so I don't know if you can call him a jock or not. But yeah, that is weird, man.
Matt, thoughts?
It makes me kind of wonder. It's his tank specialist, so when he fell over, he didn't hurt himself because literally in the cartoon, he's always Alpine. I think I fell down. he was I don't want to be mean. He was the Forrest Gump of the Joe team.
Unfortunately, he was.
I liked him. He was great, but he was not a fast thinker. Well, okay, he might have been a fast thinker, but he was not a fast actor.
This is another show that Jarrod, George, and I watched when he fell down that crevice, and Quick Kick goes, "What did he say? Something about, well, he sure was a good guy," or something like that. It's that was it.
That's right. That's right.
But he's okay. He landed on his head.
I want to point out, so he's a missile specialist. So his primary military specialty is armor defeating weapon system. His secondary is tank driver. I don't know about you, but aren't those two separate, different? I wouldn't want to be a tank driver if I know that there's stuff out there that can blow me up.
He's like 360-degree battle space kind of guy. He wants to understand all the angles of it. Also, I would not let him drive a tank around my base. I guess we base that completely off of the cartoon because I got to be honest, Jim, you clearly memorized these things because you were like, I liked it when Alpine used his pay skills. And I didn't remember that at all. And I podcasted about that issue, but I don't remember there being a much bazooka at all in the comics. And I'm more of a comics guy.
I think he was in issue 44. That was the one with the introduction of the bats and Dr. Mindbender. And they were in the junkyard with Lady J doing some training. But after that, there's not, I mean, he's in it, but it's just like
in a panel
spots here and there. Nothing, no story really.
Yeah. It's just
the only thing I remember him from the comic is when I think it was when Devil's Due took over and they were bringing the Joes back and they were like, oh, he can't cut it.
Yeah.
He can't make the cut. Sorry, guys.
Was he the one that when they called, he was like what's the weight limit now or whatever? Because he was he was big time out of shape.
Yeah, it was Bazooka.
But for some reason I was thinking that was Zap. Bazooka does end up coming in the comic. Wasn't he in the one with the Alpine? In the
same, with the bar one, and he was cut.
Yeah, because Blaylock admitted that he loved to bring in elements of the cartoon, so he absolutely was like, "I'm bringing Bazooka in with Alpine."
Yeah.
Overall, Bazooka was a lovable character. Wasn't used a lot, as Jarrod said in the comics. I don't know why. Larry just didn't like him, but so unfortunately, all we have to go on is the cartoon, which did not bode well for him.
The cartoon was enough to make me have to get a figure of him, and it's chilling over on the shelf with the rest of them because he's a good figure.
You know, we may have solved the mystery of why he's not so much in the. I wonder if the cartoon kind of got a hold of him before Larry could do what he wanted with him. And then by the time Larry goes to use him, he's like, that's not even how I wrote him on the file card. Like, he's so bastardized from what I did. Like, I don't need to mess with that one.
It'd be interesting to kind of then look at that file card and try to figure out, did Larry take that and transition it into another character in the comic eventually who fits that bill? Maybe someone pops up in a single special missions issue. All right, this is how I would want to write Bazooka.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Never know. All right. Jarrod.
Looks like I get our first vehicle driver of the episode because I've been assigned Crankcase, which I think would be a good call sign for me because I'm grumpy most of the time. Crankcase is not where he's from. It's his name. His name is Indiana Elwood G. His name is Elwood, Indiana. And no, he's not from there. We'll get to that. Primary military specialty is motor vehicle driver. Secondary military specialty is armor. Birthplace is Lawrence, Kansas. Ever get irritable when you're standing in a line that just doesn't seem to be moving at all? Well,
yes. Oh, that was, you were just reading. Okay. Never, I'll go on mute.
No, it was fine because it's on his file card. Well, the whole world seems to be moving in slow motion to Crankcase all the time. That's why he's constantly ticked off. He's just not happy unless he has a wheel in one hand and a shifter in the other and the wind in his face. Crankcase E4 came with the Awe Striker. Big fan of that vehicle. I thought that was really neat. I always thought the figure was a little plain. Not a lot stand out for Crankcase to me. His saving grace to me is that he is the driver of the Awe Striker. Like, I like the vehicle lifts up the figure to me. But that's my take. I think I handed it to Jim last time. So, Matt, you want to talk about it first this time?
Crankcase was one that I never had growing up because I didn't have an Awe Striker. So I think I see a lot of people with like love for it. And I think because I didn't have it, I'm just like, oh, okay, it exists. For me, it's not the Vamp. So in that same vein, like Crankcase isn't Clutch for me. So he'll always kind of be second to that. No, nothing wrong with Crankcase, but I just am not familiar with him because I don't really remember him much from Sudbo either.
I don't think he got a lot of mileage in the comic book either. No pun intended.
Not a lot, no. Crankcase, because he was a vehicle figure or the driver of a vehicle that was a good vehicle that everybody could drive, he was forgettable. You know, everybody drove the Awe Striker. So what's Crankcase's specialty? So
if there's like a Skyhawk pilot,
right?
A good looking figure, I think, but he is forgettable. Didn't see much in the cartoon or the comic book, so not a whole lot to discuss. All right. Anything else? Pretty simple character. Pretty unfortunately forgettable.
The vehicle just rose higher.
Overshadows. All right. How about getting dirty there, Matt?
Who is not forgettable is the next one, and that is Dusty. Dusty is one of those that sticks out. He is our desert trooper. His file name is Ronald W. Tater, and I'm sure you guys know who that's named after.
I do.
Jarrod?
Ronald Tater?
You don't know?
Ron Rudat.
Oh,
The last name is Rudat, spelled backwards.
now I know. You know what?
Knowing is half the battle.
That's very funny. Rudat is gonna be at Joe Lanta, where I also am a featured guest. Fancy. And I'm gonna be like, hey, did you know that your name I was clueless on that. So that's fascinating to me, sir.
All right, awesome. So his primary military specialty is infantry. His secondary military specialty, which is really beneficial for him, would be refrigeration and air conditioning maintenance. His birthplace is Las Vegas, Nevada. So his little quote from Hawk's Files is, "It's not enough nowadays to have a rapid reaction force responsive instantaneously to explosive situations in far-flung corners of the globe. That force must be capable of surviving in a diverse array of hostile environments to accomplish its objectives. If that means having one of the experts for every type of environment on every team take on survival responsibilities of that terrain, so be it. Basically, we need a guy in the desert. We need a guy in the mountains. 85 is the year where we really start picking and going, this guy for that, this guy for that, this guy for that." And the Dusty figure is iconic to me.
He's one of those that was highlighted in the cartoon quite a bit. He was in quite a few of the episodes.
Sure.
And with rightfully so. He was written well, good voice actor, all-around trooper. Because you can use him more in just the desert. They use him in the jungle. I think he was probably using the snow, but
I'm trying to remember. At least off the top of my head, I think he's the first figure that I recall that had like an actual like cloth piece to him. So
yes.
That always stands out. He had unique accessories. He had like the short little machine gun as opposed to everybody else. He had the desert camo. And then in Sunbow, like you said, great character, really unique, and had like some really key episodes. Like when Dusty was the traitor.
Yep. I was going to say a two-parter to the traitor. That was a good one. And then his figure has that ever-elusive bipod. One of the most expensive accessories you can lose from a figure.
So, did you guys have Dusty in your collection?
I did not.
Yeah, I had him. There's a story to tell there. So, another True Confessions episode. Yeah, Joe Forrest.
Is he like Firefly?
It's not far off. Well, we would bring G.I. Joes to school in our lunch boxes when I lived in Texas. The way the school was built, the building itself was sort of an outcrop, and then under the portion of the building that was sticking out was this sort of dirt play area. And oftentimes we would go out there, and it was nice because it was shaded. The building provided cover and shade. And we'd go out there, we'd bust our Joes out of our lunch boxes after we'd finish eating lunch, and we'd start playing Joes. And well, one kid lost his Dusty from, burying in the dirt and all this. He lost his Dusty. I mean, I'm air quoting, he literally did lose the Dusty. And then like 2 days later, we were out there playing. I found the Dusty. I did not tell anyone that I found the Dusty. Dusty surreptitiously went into my lunchbox and came home with me. And you know what? And the sad part is, like, it might be the Dusty I still have, by the way. I just remember he's very, very loose, like shaking and he's flopping all around like a marionette. Like, so I didn't even steal like a high quality Dusty. I stole like a low quality Dusty.
He was well loved.
He was. He still had the fabric on, which I thought was a plus. I always thought, even as a kid, I was like, man, this fabric's going to be the first thing to go on this figure if you play with them too rough. But you know what's weird is most of the Dusties I find still have fabric. Like it lasted a lot longer than I thought it would. That's for sure. Yeah,
I think in the wild I've seen more with it than without.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I think Dusty's awesome. Now, little did Dusty know, like, or G.I. Joe or Hasbro know when they made Dusty back in 1985 that like he was going to be the key guy for every real military thing that happens from like then on forever and ever. Lord knows I've worn a very similar outfit. But yeah, I love doing the show because I keep learning stuff like Rudat spelled backwards, and I learned stuff, like Dusty's air conditioning repairman, which I did not remember. Dusty's cool, man. Dusty's cool.
But now I seem to know that Jarrod plays by the rules of like playground salvage. It's kind of like maritime salvage.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we're at a second episode of things I did that I'm not exactly proud of. And you know what? Just to toss this in there, I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember the details, but my all striker, I think it was ill-gotten in some way as well. The more I think about it. Anyway, back to you, Jim.
I don't have anything further about Dusty. You guys covered quite a bit of it. Good all-around character, good all-around figure. One of everybody's favorites, probably. All right. That leads me to, I'm thinking that Jarrod was hoping this would land on him, but I couldn't stack the deck. I'm sorry, Jarrod. So
right.
I'm going to cover Flint. File name, Dashiell Fairborn. Primary military specialty, infantry. Secondary military specialty, helicopter pilot. And place of birth, Wichita, Kansas. We had thought Cobra had us in the stinking dungeon for good. So we didn't know what was going down when we heard the chopper coming in and all the heavy hardware going off like the 4th of July. Then somebody kicked down the door to our cell, and when the smoke cleared, there was Flint with that lopsided grin saying, "Come on, boys, we're going home." Jarrod, what do you got on Flint?
Oh, thank you, Jim. I love Flint. He's a top tier figure for me. He was a big part of my childhood. My dad being a warrant officer and a helicopter pilot, it was like, I remember my dad being like interested in this figure. And for the longest time, I thought he was the only warrant officer in G.I. Joe. I didn't realize that Torpedo was one from years before. I probably, because I ended up getting the card, he's probably trading for Torpedo, never had the card to tell me that. Yeah, Flint was a big in our house because my dad was a warrant officer, helicopter pilot, and he must have been on a budget as well because I never did get that Dragonfly, but I got a Flint. I did get a Flint. And so, yeah, I absolutely dig Flint. I like his design. I mean, the voice actor did a voice drop for us, for goodness sakes. So that's good times right there.
Matt, what do you think of Flint?
Flint, like with Jarrod, Flint's one of my top tier Joes. He is fantastic. He's amazing in the Sunbow cartoon. When he's been in the comics and he's not the Punisher, he's been a good read. I hate what they did to him later on, but that's neither here nor there. His figure is iconic. It is like one of the key G.I. Joe figures to me.
I had Flint as a kid. You got the age-old debate on who's the better leader of the G.I. Joe team. And I got to go with Flint over Duke. Sorry. I
also prefer him as well, and I know Matt does too. I mean, if it's a question of rank, Flint outranks Duke.
And I don't recall Flint getting captured as much as Duke, so he does have that going.
And there's not the debate of between the comics and cartoons of the whole love triangle. It's Lady J and Flint in the cartoons, Lady J in the comic book.
An occasional stop by of the Baroness.
Well, yes. Which can you blame him?
Well, I think Baroness likes her some Flint. And
you got to use Flint to start a fire. That's right. But it says right there on the file card, who comes in and saves the day? Flint does.
Flint does.
Yep. It's probably written from the perspective of Duke, and he's just like, man, why is this guy always having to bail me out?
I didn't really mind. I mean, I did not like what caused Flint to be angry in the comic books, but I think it humanized him. I think without certain things like that, you end up being overly generic. So I'm glad that Devil's Due made Duke interesting and gave Flint another path. It's hard to watch. It is hard to watch, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see him recover from it. If he ever does recover, I can't remember.
No, I don't remember either. But like you said, I don't like what caused it.
Yeah, and we'll get to that shortly on our list of things here today.
Yes.
Flint is one of those that I think, again, it's on everybody, at least everybody's top 10, possibly top 5 sometime. Very well loved, very well written in both the comics, cartoons. Great figure. As a kid, I love that pistol grip shotgun, and that's what I'm like, ooh, I'm getting that. And I like berets too, so, I got to think for Falcon, Flint.
Well, to that same vein, I liked his pistol grip shotgun so much that I actually took scissors and customed Falcon shotgun, like cut it down to be more like Flint's. My Lieutenant Falcon shotgun was chopped down. It's illegal, man. The government would never have gone for it, but I did it.
The one thing that throws me off about his figure, it's on the shorter side.
True.
Like if you look at him like next to other Joes, he's short, and it stands out.
Hey man, some of the toughest guys I knew in the military were those tiny guys with small man complex, man. Very scrappy dudes.
They had something to prove.
They did.
All right. Now see, Jarrod, I knew that you wanted Flint, but even I didn't stack the deck so I could get this next one for myself. You want to
Oh, right. Okay, because I just realized why. Okay. Yeah. I got it. Okay. Because next up I got another vehicle driver. I got frostbite, which is just terrible.
You should see a doctor about that.
Yeah, right. I gotta go now. The guys have to do the rest of the show without me. Somehow I got frostbite in August in Alabama. But yes, I got the character Frostbite, who is the Snowcat driver. And Jim is a big fan of the Snowcat. And, Frostbite, kind of like Crankcase to me. I feel the Snowcat is out elevated because we had Snow Job. Like, okay, it's another snowy guy, And then there's another one to come. I think his name was Iceberg. Isn't he the next one that we're going to get on down the line? I don't know. Like, I still like him. There's nothing wrong with him. He is definitely like the Clutch of the snow vehicle world. He's got the beard and everything. Let me do the doobles. This is Frostbite, and his name is Farley S. Seward. Military specialty, motor vehicle driver. Secondary specialty, armor. Birthplace, Galena, Alaska. He's an E4. Frostbite has to be cool. The environment he works in is too unforgiving. If his Snowcat throws a piston, he's got to step out in the weather that'll freeze a hex wrench to bare skin in 5 seconds and carry through a repair job that would be taxing under ideal conditions. He can't afford to panic, not if he wants to stay alive. This is a cool card, but I've said my piece already. I don't remember who went first last time, but I'm contractually obligated to give it to Jim.
Well, thanks, Jarrod. Yeah, Frostbite is one of my favorite. The Snowcat, one of my favorite vehicles. I remember seeing him in the cartoon, but I don't know if he ever spoke a word. I don't know if he did or not.
What about comics? I remember a lot of him in the comics.
No, I don't think he was ever.
Don't recall.
I don't think he was ever in the comics. I'll have to do some homework on that, but I don't think he ever was.
Probably because of what I mentioned. Snow Job.
Yeah.
Just use him if you need it.
Jim the Joe Junkie breaking in. Frostbite was included in the mission to stop Cobra from activating terradromes in Frozen Land in issue 68. On another mission, Frostbite and all the other Arctic Joes battled Cobra and the October Guard on the Bering Straits in Special Missions number 20. Now, back to the show. I think I like him. It was right at the height of my collecting. I remember getting the Snowcat and Frostbite for Christmas one year, and it had snowed an immense amount. And I went out, put it together, immediately lost one of the Snowpedos, but I still had fun.
Actually, I took it and put it in my lunchbox.
Oh, dang it, Jarrod. Oh, Matt, what do you think?
What I think, you got to watch out for Jarrod with snow time salvage now.
It's all fair game. You lose everywhere.
I don't recall if I had Frostbite. Growing up in Louisiana at that time, there was not a lot of need for snow vehicles.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah, they weren't huge for me.
But Copperhead, he was all over.
Copperhead, oh my God, yes. Okay, we're not talking about Cobras. I'm not even going to go there.
I wound him up.
Yeah, this would be like the 6 hour. But anyway, Frostbite, I think I actually had him as a kid, though, because he was one of the few vehicle drivers that I remember trading for. I had a couple friends that we would routinely trade toys, trade figures, and it was like 2 Joes for a He-Man, and I got a little Transformer. Like, well, I got this. What do you want? I never had many vehicles growing up, but I had a few vehicle drivers because I would trade for them because I could never find them on cards because it exists that way. So he was a neat one.
Yeah, that's true. As a collector, I do get a little excited when I find a vehicle driver, just because, like you said, you can find them on a peg.
Yeah.
Got to find them loose, basically.
That's why you make friends with like the rich kids who are like, I got like 2 of this vehicle. I don't need 2 of this driver. I'll trade you for one.
Why don't we go play out in the dirt area?
Go out in the sandbox.
Tell me the location of your shed.
You will soon find when we rank them. This is going to be high on my list. So, all right, what is next? Or who is next, Matt?
Next up is our infantry trooper Footloose. His file name is Andrew D. Myers. His primary military specialty is infantry. Secondary military specialty is special services, basketball coach. His birthplace is Gary, Indiana. Some of the Joes think Footloose is out there, but all he's trying to do is find himself. He's the all-American boy who got lost on the way to the fair, and he's simply trying to go home any which way he can. Most folks think they know who they are and where they're going. They're the dangerous ones. I don't think I had Footloose growing up. I remember him on the Sunbow cartoon, and if we really want to compare him to other stuff, I would almost say Footloose is the Orsted of the Joe team.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
We were all thinking
up,
it.
Yeah, they really played up his out there-ness, didn't they? He was very
Yes.
California for a guy from Gary, Indiana.
As a kid in the 80s, like, okay, cool, he's a surfer dude. Doesn't it now, like, watching it through adult eyes, you're like, that dude was smuggling pot onto the military base, wasn't he?
Dude was not going to pass his P test.
I'm not sure what kind of leaves were on his helmet, but I don't think that was just camouflage.
It was not. He's like deep in the pit. He had his grow rooms.
Other military specialty, hydroponics.
Yeah. Specialty basketball coach. I'm like, what?
What?
I've never looked at his file card, and that kind of trips me out.
Him
So,
and Big Lob need to team up.
probably so. So, Jarrod, did you have Footloose? Did you find him at Playground Salvage time?
I feel like he's one that I may be traded for. With his interesting backstory aside, if you look at him as just a figure, unfortunately to me, he just kind of comes off as another trooper. There's nothing too unique about Footloose. Other than, like you say, we watch cartoons and you get a new appreciation for Footloose from a different perspective.
Like, looking at the figure, it looks like they're like, all right, we've got like our typical green, typical Joe from like 82, 83. Let's throw some camouflage on him and sculpt him up a little bit.
Yeah. The other thing I get from his file card is he's got to be one tough dude. If you know the demographics about Gary, Indiana, especially in the mid 80s, he's a tough dude. I'll just leave it at that. That's where the Jackson 5 was from. It was not an easy place to live.
Fair enough. Jim, did you have Footloose?
I did not have Footloose. Even back then, I looked at Footloose, I go, that's his Grunt V2. I looked at him as just a regular infantry. That's all he was to me. So I'm like, I don't want that guy. I'd rather get Barbecue or Alpine. You know, he's a specialist. But yeah, I didn't have him, and I don't even know. I know I got a lot of accessories, but I don't even know if I have a Footloose figure now. I may have him. I don't. That's how memorable he is to me right now. And not one of my favorites. I can see why he would be somebody's, but he's not mine.
Yeah, I don't have him now, but he's on my short list of like the handful that I still want to get just because he was in the cartoon.
And for that reason, I can see that. They played him up.
I have, I'm nerdy enough to keep a spreadsheet of all my Joes, and I can tell you that I do have him, and he is complete, but he's so forgettable I had to look him up on my spreadsheet to see if I had him.
Now, granted, his classified figure is real nice. It's one of the ones that just came in a few days ago.
Classified Team's been nailing it with these figures. All right. Anything else about Footloose? Other than I'm surprised jokes about the movie didn't come up.
So none of us liked him. We all cut him from our roster. So everybody cut, everybody cut, everybody cut.
Thank you, Jarrod.
You're welcome.
After the Orsted, you can't top him. That's just how it is. He is the Joe Orsted.
If there was a Joe Cobra team up, it would be Footloose and Orsted.
I would pay money for that, actually.
That's a special mission somebody needs to write.
They just sit around all day agreeing with each other. That's all.
That is like, I feel like that would be like the military Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right.
All right, we're going to move on to Heavy Metal, the Mauler tank driver. File name, Sherman R. Oh boy. Guderian, primary military specialty, armor. Secondary military specialty, finance. And was born in Brooklyn, New York. Many people find comfort in order and discipline. Mathematics reduces the complexities of the world to manageable sums. Heavy Metal likes tanks. They are immutable statements in iron. Jarrod, did you have Heavy Metal?
I do have him. I'm not sure when or where I got him. I don't think I've ever owned a Mauler. I probably picked him up at a yard sale somewhere.
Do you have the microphone?
Let me look. Yes, I have him complete.
Wow, that's impressive.
So yeah, I did notice he came with this tiny microphone. The first thing I thought was, yeah, people lose that. So
you've got a retirement fund, is what you're saying.
I guess I do. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Who knew? I have all my figures in a display in a big glass display cabinet. You guys would love it. What I do is all the accessories go in a little baggie with the file card. If I don't have the file card, I just do a little piece of paper that says who it is. So Heavy Metal version 1. So there's probably a microphone and a gun in a little baggie out in my building, which I'm not going to tell you where it is, Jim. And it says, it says Heavy Metal version 1, and it's in a little baggie out there somewhere. I probably could sell just all the accessories I have out there and retire because I have so many.
So, Jarrod, just looking on eBay, a Heavy Metal with just a gun and a file card is $30-ish. You add the mic to it, $500.
Okay. This thing's just sitting in a Ziploc baggie out my building. It's been out there for about 15, 20 years.
I mean, you're talking a big jump with the microphone.
Maybe we'll see one when we are in Shepherdsville.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see one, but it'll be hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I must have picked this guy up in a yard sale or something like that. Having never owned the Mauler and not having any special attachment to it or him, to me, he's a vehicle driver guy. In fact, if you showed me a picture of him before we started recording, I'd be like, he's a vehicle driver, some kind of an armored thing. I would not have remembered his name was Heavy Metal. Sad state of affairs, Jim.
He's one of those that wasn't in the cartoon very much. I don't think he ever got out of the Mauler in the comic book. I mean, he had a few appearances, more than some, but not.
It was like fused to it. Just fused to
pretty, yeah. Like those old green army tanks that had the figures that were stuck in there. Jim the Joe Junkie back again. Crankcase and Heavy Metal were featured in a high-profile storyline in issue 109. Heavy Metal and Crankcase were killed in Trucial Bismia by the Saw Viper along with Doc. Later in the story, as the Joes were attempting to escape, Breaker, Crazy Legs, and Quick Kick were killed when the Cobra Rage that they were on was destroyed. It was not a good issue for the 1985 characters. Now, back to the show. Matt, what did you think of Heavy Metal? Did you have him as a kid?
I did not, but I do like Heavy Metal.
The figure or music?
The music, okay.
The music is fantastic.
Okay.
But
how about the figure?
The figure I never had. I don't think I knew anyone that had him. I never had the Mauler.
I didn't have him as a kid. You think about this. He came with a motorized battle tank. This thing was expensive. Even now, in good shape, working, these Maulers are highly sought after because the motors didn't last.
I didn't realize this. I thought the Mobat was the only motorized tank. So tell me about this Mauler. What are you talking in the secondary market? Just off the top of your head. Like, what are you thinking?
I picked one up for $5. And
that sounds good to me.
it didn't have the tow rope. It didn't have the sides. I think it was missing one of the lids. And I sold it for $60 just because it worked.
All right. So a good working one complete. You're looking at 100, 150.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Okay.
Jarrod, who's next?
Next up is, everyone brace yourselves. It's another vehicle driver, but brace yourself. This is the driver of the vehicle. This is Keel Hall, which I have, by the way, but we'll get to that. Let's talk about Keel Hall. He is an admiral, and they don't say which kind, so they don't have like so he's an 07 or higher. Means he might outrank Hawk. Not sure. They don't have it on there. I don't see it on this card. Anyway, let's talk about him. He's Everett P. Colby, primary military specialty command, secondary military specialty pilot. So he came up through the pilot ranks to become a admiral. That's interesting. His birthplace is Charlottesville, Virginia, and nothing weird has ever happened there. We'll move on. And Keel Hall was always cool. He could set an F4 down on a carrier deck at night with half the instruments out and walk away whistling. You know what it's like to land on an aircraft carrier at night? Try jumping on a moving skateboard while blindfolded. Funny story, I once saw an actual documentary about these, especially Vietnam era pilots that would land on. They're like, the analogy I heard there was landing on an aircraft carrier at night. He said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a postage stamp and set it face down in the middle of your living room floor. and I want you to jump and lick that stamp as your face hit the ground. But before you do that, turn the lights off. It's like, that's what it's like trying to land on an aircraft carrier at night, which makes sense because it's dark and your landing surface is literally bobbing up and down. So anyway, I got distracted. Let's talk about Keel Haul. I do have him. He is loosey-goosey as Foxtrot. I can't even stand him up in my case. He's laying down because it's like a rag doll because he's just loose as all get. I put a new O-ring in, but all his other joints are just he loose. But I just am so happy to have him because, like, the vehicle driver for the USS Flag, like, how the hell I got him, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was a yard sale find, which makes me wonder, did I miss something at that yard sale? I don't know. Anyway, Matt, talk to me about Keel Haul.
Matt never had Keel Haul because Matt never had the flag.
Yeah, who amongst us did?
I don't know. Who? That thing right there behind me? Yeah, that was me.
I know I saw Keel Haul at least once as a kid, so someone had to have had a flag, but I think they hid that thing, though I don't know how they hid a 7-foot toy. Maybe they traded for someone a state away when they went to visit someone, and the legend continues.
I think you could get him as a mail order figure.
Oh, of just kind of the bagged.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he's definitely got a cool look. I like the leather jacket. And he's got the hat and everything.
Kind of reminds me of Magnum in a way.
That's what I was going to say. Magnum PI.
Yeah, and I think he even comes with like the 1911 45 caliber pistol.
I don't really have a ton about Keel Haul, but Mr. I have a flag behind me over there, Jim. What do you have about Keel Haul?
I did not have a Keel Haul as a kid. I do have a Keel Haul now and a flag. The Keel Haul was given to me by my brother George for Christmas. He found it and got it for me. Thank you, George. Finished the flag quite well. As far as the figures go, yes, you could get them as mail away later. And at some point, I don't know when or the timing or whatever, but you can get them at Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese as prizes.
Oh, I remember that.
I don't remember when or where or why, but they were in little baggies. You could get them at Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese.
Like the little red backer behind them and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where a kid can be a kid.
Yes. So that's where some of them might be coming from as well. You got to remember this era. This is 1985. We're, 12, 13 years removed from Vietnam? So he flew in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
F-4 Phantom is definitely a Vietnam-era aircraft.
Yep. So I think that's pretty cool. Again, Larry wrote this file card. You can tell because of what he put into it and how he built this character up. And Jarrod, as far as what you were saying about ranks higher than Hawk, in one of the comics, they say, I think it's during the invasion of Cobra Island, there's that conversation when Flint is on the flag and they're deploying the troops. Hawk's like, this is your show, Keel Haul. You're in charge. This is your ship, not mine. Pretty much when we're on your boat.
Oh, yeah. The skipper's the skipper.
Yeah.
No matter what. Even if it's a guy who's like an 05, if you're on a ship, that guy who runs the ship, that's his ship. Yeah. Absolutely.
Again, that's Larry, knowing his military history and protocol.
He's one of the few they didn't give an actual pay grade rank to, you know?
Yeah, I noticed that. I just noticed that. And there's nothing on that in that corner there.
Because, I mean, Hawk eventually becomes an 07, becomes a brigadier general. I don't know if this guy's 07 or if he's on up. Wait a second. I do know. Let me zoom in. How many stars on him? 2. He outranks Hawk. He's an 08. He's got 2 stars on his collar. Shirt. On his shoulder, 3. That is a match, unless my picture's just weird. So
I see 3.
On his collar as well?
On his collar, there's 2.
But on his shoulder, there's 3. He just put on his old shirt that day, I guess. So he's 09? 7, 8, 09. He's the man.
There you go.
Yeah, unless they make a figure of the President of the United States of America, he's the highest ranking Joe figure right there.
All right. Well, I think that's enough about Keel Haul. Matt, what's your next one?
Because we got to get to one of the stars of the show. We got to get to Covert Operations, codename Lady J. File name Allison R. Hart Burnett. Primary military specialty intelligence. Secondary military specialty personnel clerk. First place Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. Lady J doesn't go in for that phony wig and rubber mask branded disguise like those jokers on Mission Impossible. She becomes the subject. Body language, subtle gestures, correct shading of dialect, the right look in the eye. Cloaked and sandaled, she can squat down with a basket of oranges in any Middle Eastern marketplace and blend in perfectly. Lady J probably is one of the most iconic G.I. Joe characters to me. In the 80s, where it was like you had boys' toys and you had girls' toys. I don't want to buy a girl figure. No, you wanted Lady J.
Yeah. Like G.I. Joe always did well at that. I wanted Scarlet. I wanted Lady J. Like G.I. Joe, they found a way.
Jerry, when you say you wanted them, you meant the figures, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. Okay.
Yeah.
This is probably going to get cut out, but Lady J, number one female Joe ever.
Hot.
At that time, you have crushes as a kid. And Lady J was a very pretty girl in the 80s.
They had her straps enhance her boobage on the figure.
They were to the
straps
side.
went around the boobage.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, to be fair, some of the dreadnoughts are dressed very sexy, too.
They are. They're very 80s metal.
One of them wears a midriff, right? That's all I'm saying. But, yeah, I mean, it comes down to, like, I mean, when you think attractive characters in this universe, everyone first thinks Baroness, because that's the law. Okay, that's the law.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think Joes, I think there's a split. I think some dudes like Cover Girl, some dudes like Scarlet, some dudes like Jinx, some dudes like Lady J. I think those are your four heavy hitters, though, when it comes to females. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but
really, that's all. Well, you got Helix later, and Bomb Strike. That's 2000s.
Glinda,
Dinah from October Guard.
October Guard, yeah.
But the great thing is, it's like it's not just the looks; they are like tough. They are smart.
They have character. Like every one of those ones we just mentioned has character and are interesting. So yeah, good point, Matt. They're all really good characters.
Both in Sunbow and the comic book. She was written well in both of them. I remember, we just got done talking about Keelhaul, but in one of the cartoons, she put, it's not really Keelhaul, Admiral Ledger in the cartoon, but she put Admiral Ledger in his place about females on his ship. I don't remember the actual wordage or the conversation, but I know you two are knowing what I'm talking
remember
about.
This now, yeah.
She stood up for herself. Again, as Matt said, good, strong, and I think in previous episodes, because I would use it as good, strong female characters. She's a strong character. You need to start dropping the female because she was a strong character.
Yeah, she's just a great character. And like with that great character, you have a great figure. And this was one I definitely wanted as a kid, and I had as a kid. Her, you get Flint, and you got your couple, and everything's good and right in the world. She had the little camera, the little backpack, had fun accessories that were unique. She stood out. And she actually had foot pegs that she could stand on stuff, unlike Scarlet, unfortunately.
Correct.
I, unfortunately, did not have her as a kid because I fell into that. I'm not buying a girl figure. Sorry. I have to admit that. I do have her now, though.
Jarrod, did you have her?
Indeed, and I still do. And I think she's great. I'm checking my list here. According to my list, I'm missing the camera.
I'm not sure if mine has the camera or not. I basically have vintage on this side of the room and classified on that side of the room so I can look back and forth.
Anything further?
I kind of did like on the cartoon how they tied her to Destro with like the heritage and stuff. It's like, all right, let's blend the universe, bring everybody together a little bit. It just made for some fun stories.
Yeah, we just covered that on Aaron Moss's Real American Headcast, that cartoon. That was the last recording we did, where we find out she's related to Destro, and she fought all those characters in her sexy nightgown in that episode. I'm sorry. Let's get back on track.
Basically, Cthulhu under the castle.
Yes, absolutely.
There's two things I remember from that episode. The nightgowns.
Yes.
And the picture on the wall of the female Destro with the wig. Like, that is horrible.
Did you guys talk about the backward message?
On the episode, the special guest on the episode was the guy who wrote it. Who wrote that episode?
Oh, nice.
Clint Dilly wrote it, and he was a great guest. He was a lot of fun. I don't know if we covered the backwards message.
Basically, if I remember right, it boiled down to something like, if you're listening to this backwards, you have too much time on your hands or something like that. It was something similar to that.
I didn't know it actually spelled anything out. I just thought it was gibberish. That's good to know, Matt.
That's what I got on Lady J. Do you guys have anything else on Lady J?
Nope, because nothing bad will ever happen to her in comic book continuity.
That's why we're stopping now.
we're not moving any further with that conversation. We're moving on to the next character, which is everybody's favorite silent weapons specialist, Quick Kick. File name, MacArthur S. Ito. Primary military specialty, infantry. Secondary military specialty, intelligence. Birthplace, Los Angeles, California. And grade E4. Here's the situation. You want to gain access to a fortified villa, 12-foot tall continuous wall topped with razor spiral and only one gate through it. 2-inch steel plate on the gate, 2 sandbag guardhouses with direct telephone linked to the main house, 4 guards with submachine guns, 2 Dobermans, and a silent alarm hooked to a dead man switch that one of the guards is leaning on at all times. How to do it? Have Quick Kick hit it. That's how. That's a different take on Quick Kick. Matt, what are your thoughts on Quick Kick?
I really love Quick Kick from the cartoon, and that doesn't strike me as Quick Kick. So
there are
Similar to
very
the-
few instances where the cartoon elevates a character, and Quick Kick is the number one, I think, instance where it does.
yes, 100%.
Yeah, Quick Kick is one of those that I read this, I'm like, that's not the Quick Kick that I know from the cartoon. But that's okay, because he was great in the cartoon. His characterization was great. The puns, the movie quotes, I could go on.
It made him stand out, and I think he's one I had as a kid because he was so unique looking. You want the unique ones because it made it more fun.
I agree. What was the, I should know this, Fudgy Bars? When they found him in the Arctic, Alpine, and Bazooka. That's great. And I love the little nod they did with the classified. They gave him a Fudgy Bar with his
Nice.
figure.
Yes, comes with a fudgy bar now.
Jarrod, what do you
Sir.
think about Quick Kick?
I love Quick Kick. I remember getting Quick Kick brand new at the PX that is actually just a few miles from my house back in 1985. Very excited about him. This was, post issue 21 where G.I. Joe starts making a decided ninja turn. And they did something smart here because I know that he's not a Rishikage or whatever, but like we kind of had that niche filled, right? We had Snake Eyes and we had Storm Shadow, and those were your martial arts dudes, right? And then I introduced another one, and on the surface, that seems like a bad idea. Like, do I need another martial arts guy? But like Matt said, unique design helps a lot. Like, he's got a real unique design. Like if they just put another guy in a ninja suit, maybe he's not as memorable as he is. And then the elevation of the cartoon, with his impressions of movie stars and stuff. Just he's so charming and likable. So yeah, he could have easily slipped into obscurity. I mean, we've talked before about how G.I. Joe, even though diversity hadn't been invented yet, that's what all the young kids tell me. But back in the 80s, G.I. Joe was a very diverse team, right? In this wave, we do have a black guy and an Asian guy. And again, Asian guy as karate master is like, they gave him such a unique and fun personality that he breaks out of that mold, mostly through the cartoon. So he breaks a lot of like dangerous trap molds that they had going on. Somehow he rises above, and he's great. So heck yeah, Quick Kick. I don't remember them using him a ton in the comics, a little bit. I know he got the cover of one. He's got a really cool, I think it's a Zek cover that looks great. A rare instance of one where the cartoon elevates him.
I believe it's issue 50.
It's definitely in that time. Yeah, I'm gonna believe you. I know it's. I would have said it's easily between 45 and 65. So
51 or 52, but it's the one with Storm Shadow and Quick Kick.
Yeah, cool figure. Glad I bought him new off the peg.
Matt, do you have anything further?
No, just I'm glad I have one now, and I don't have to track him down anymore. Although he does discolor really easy.
Yes,
I didn't know that. Speaking of diversity, we've got ourselves a Hispanic Joe up next. It is Shipwreck. He's a sailor. His name is Hector X Delgado, and he's from Chula Vista, California. His primary specialty is gunner's mate. These are Navy ranks that no one understands but the Navy. Yeah, I tried. I really did. Secondary specialty, machinist. Shipwreck is your quintessential sailor. He can splice a line, fry powdered eggs in the tooth of a gale, and eat them. Tell taller tales than a Senate Appropriations Committee. Larry's letting it go here on this one. And take a 3-day liberty in Thule, Greenland, and come back smiling. Thule, Greenland is in the middle of nowhere. A friend of the show, Joe November, was actually stationed in Thule, by the way, for a while. Anyways, that is Shipwreck. And of course, he comes with Paulie. And yeah, it's Shipwreck. So they got a lot of mileage out of him on the cartoon. Their bad Jack Nicholson impression, just a lot of mileage. And he's a cool figure. I mean, he's very much a sailor. He's got the sailor outfit. He's got the sailor pistol. I like the attention to detail about how they even have the wrist strap. When you're on a ship, you drop stuff overboard and all that stuff. Wrist strap on his pistol. He's got a parrot. He's got the things on a string, whatever the hell those are. But yeah, I wonder what they're officially called on Yojo.com. They're called boarding hooks. There you go, boarding hooks. Why not? So this is an all-timer, Joe. This is like people just associate it with.
Associated with what?
Just G.I. Joe.
Oh, yes.
Like,
yes.
he's like, especially if you're a cartoon guy.
Yeah. People that don't know G.I. Joe know Shipwreck. I never had him as a kid. I've got a couple of them now. And this is actually George's favorite character. He bought 3 3/4 Shipwreck and gave it to me. But yeah, all around, great character in the cartoon. Wasn't used much in the comic book. I remember the scene when they were invading the Cobra Island when it was just coming up from the ocean. Good all-around character. Very memorable. Matt, what do you got?
I've got Shipwreck. I have him now. I had him as a kid. The one thing that always cracked me up is Shipwreck's face in the toy looked like my stepdad growing up. So whenever I got the figure, I'd be like, it's a toy of you.
Did he
and your
appreciate
stepdad
that?
had that parrot too. So that
Yeah. But I still remember, like, after getting back into collecting again, like when I was like early 20s and everything, I found a Shipwreck and I'm like, I could give this to him. So I gave that to him and everything, and he kept it for a while. Shipwreck was always a fun character, and like looking at the figure now, when I look at the face of it, I really see like he looks like the Action Man figure. I didn't know that growing up, but now that's what it looks like to me. For me, though, Shipwreck is, like you guys said, the cartoon. What I was watching before we got here, just so I could like prep as much as I need to prep for G.I. Joe. I had on Revenge of Cobra, and I got to the point where they met Shipwreck for the first time, and it's just like, he's such a good character. So much fun.
sometimes stereotype characters work.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has nothing to do with him being Hispanic. He's just an absolute sailor, like to the core.
Yes. He's like, oh, Flint and Lady Jerry together. Yeah, that should be me.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just going to jump in the Sky Striker and with Lady J and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the Han Solo of the G.I. Joe universe.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Yeah.
This is going to be many episodes down the road, but I really liked his redesign. Post Devils do. They really modernized him well.
I think in 94, they put him in as a Navy SEAL in this wetsuit and everything.
Vague memory of that, yes.
That's a good one, too.
Was that like the black or the silver suit or something?
So, I think the black, yeah.
All I think of when I see that is like there was a show on Nickelodeon and he was like Stinky Diver.
Yes, yes.
So that's not Shipwreck to me. That's Stinky Diver.
To a lot of people, he's Stinky Diver. So yes, you are correct. But yes, Jarrod.
Now I have to Google Stinky Diver.
it's Action League now.
Yes, Jarrod. The redesign with the stocking hat, all that stuff. Yes.
So it's so weird because it's a complete redesign. Yet the minute you look at it, you go Shipwreck. I don't know how they did that.
And let's not forget, in the end, he gets CoverGirl. Oh, are we not there yet, Jarrod?
Doesn't seem fair. No, I don't know this.
Yeah. Well, so
doesn't seem well. He's a smooth one. He's a smooth one. He's all sailor.
Oh boy, Matt, you get to do probably everybody's favorite.
Right. So the little known G.I. Joe Commando, codename Snake Eyes, file name classified. Primary military operating specialty is infantry. Secondary military specialty, hand-to-hand combat instructor. You want to know his place of birth? Too bad, it's classified. Snake Eyes was tempered on the anvil of life until he was as dangerous as razor-edged sword flailing in the dark. The G.I. Joe team sheathed that sword and harnessed its deadly energy, but even they won't forget that within the safety of its scabbard, the blade retains its cutting edge. Snake Eyes version 2.
I think you forgot somebody, though.
And Timber. But Timber's not on the card.
No, but man, he's awesome.
He really is. But for me, even though like I'm not a huge Snake Eyes fan, I am a huge fan of Snake Eyes version 2. When I think of G.I. Joe figure, that's what pops in my mind first.
Everybody goes to version 2 as the quintessential Snake Eyes because he's great. The visor, so unique, never seen it before. Great. I think we mentioned earlier, this is a figure they intended to look this awesome, and they just nailed it. No matter what they do, they always go back to this somewhat of this version with action figures for Snake Eyes.
Yeah, and this is one that I did have as a kid, and I don't know if I have a complete one now. I know I've got pieces of one that I'm slowly trying to just buy pieces to put together because that's cheaper than buying a complete one. Do either of you guys, did you have him? Do you have him?
I
Jarrod?
did, and I do. Yeah. It's a simple formula. How do we take our coolest character and make him more cool? I don't know. Put a wolf in there. There you go. Okay. Got it. So, yeah. Still have him. Definitely had him as a kid. I feel like he was like issued to you when you went to the first day of school in 1985. They're like, all right, here's your homeroom teacher. Here's your Snake Eyes and Timber. Have a good first day of school. I don't know. It seemed like everybody had him.
Well, I didn't have him. I still don't have him. He's
What?
a hole in my... Nope, I don't.
What? Can't throw a rock without hitting the version 2 Snake Eyes.
No, I don't. I do have a Timber, though. Not the action figure one. My German Shepherd Husky mix is named Timber.
You might can throw a rock and hit him, but probably needs to be wrapped with like $100 bill or so if you want to go home with it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's pricey then, I guess, which is odd because I think he's prolific. Like there was a lot of them made.
There were, but that kind of ties into the other thing with this whole wave of Joes for me with the swivel or with like the ball neck. That's when I started customizing. And let me tell you, I wanted more Snake Eyes version 2s because cool torso. That's a cool head to put on another body and swap up and everything. So things get damaged.
There's a lot out there, but everybody wants them too.
What is there to say about Snake Eyes? I mean, granted, you can get all his dialogue in the cartoon done like that.
That voice actor had an easy job.
If you go into the comic, that is G.I. Joe.
Just recently, Pat and I did the episodes with the origin of Snake Eyes. And it continues, that just grows through the whole comic book, like you said, Matt. You know, all the way up to 155 and all the way in through the IDW stuff, still going on. He's even talking now in the Skybound stuff. I know we've covered him previously on their cartoons and comics, but overall as a figure, top notch, can't beat it. We're going to move on to, believe it or not, another vehicle driver, Toll Booth. He was the driver of the Bridge Layer. File name, Chuck X for nothing, Gorin. Military specialty, combat engineer. Secondary specialty, transportation. Birthplace was Boise, Idaho. Grade SP5. Stalker says, we're on our way to an objective and come to an obstacle we can't cross. River, crevasse, mountain, whatever. Toll Booth gets us across. He may build a bridge out of whatever's there, blast a pass through solid rock, or lay down a 4-lane blacktop. The man's got magic. I did not have Toll Booth as a kid. I have him now. I still need his hammer. And I do have the Bridge Layer. He's one of the vehicle drivers of a very not popular vehicle, so he's not on a lot of people's lists for favorite characters. Matt, what do you think?
Toll Booth's one, I never had him. I still don't have him, but like you said, he's not high up on a lot of people's lists. He's not high on my list. The Sledgehammer looks like fun to take pictures with other figures, but I really don't have a lot for Toll Booth, unfortunately.
Jarrod, how about you?
Well, surprise, surprise. He's high on somebody's list because I love me some Toll Booth. I have got some pictures laying around here somewhere of me opening my Toss and Cross on Christmas of, I guess, probably 86. I think is when I got this one. Yeah, it was 86. It was Christmas of 86 because it was right before we went to Germany. And I loved the Toss and Cross. I thought Toll Booth was cool. And then I just got more of an appreciation for him as I got older because the Corps of Engineers is such an amazing part of the military that gets no frontline love. They make stuff where there shouldn't be stuff made. They'll blow explosives to make a road. The bridge layer was cool. I loved it. So yeah, I'm that guy. I love Toll Booth. I like that he came with a sledgehammer. And I love the way, like, my favorite thing about his character design is the crooked hat. It's just on a gives it a little zip, you know? So yeah, I love it. And so not only did I love the toy as a kid, and I really did like it, because it was interactive with other toys. You know, you put that down and then you drive your Vamp across it, or your tank or whatever, you know. So I liked that aspect of it. But then, like I said, as I got older and I appreciated the Army Corps of Engineers, especially, and I'm pretty sure that's where Larry came from. I think he was an engineering corps guy in his day. So I got to ask him about old Toll Booth when I see him in Joe Lanta, where I'm a featured guest.
Unfortunately, this will come out after you've been to Toylanta, but
I'll still ask him.
Jarrod, I'm like you. I love Toll Booth. I love the bridge layer. Many of my customized vehicles are utility type vehicles. I like that aspect of it. But yeah, I like the bridge layer and Toll Booth. All right. I think you got the last one, Jarrod.
Yeah, I got us an obscure one here, don't I?
Obscure or just odd? I'm not sure how you want to look at it. But yes.
Rare.
This is one I just sort of recently found out about within the last couple of years. Let's talk about Tripwire version 2. So, yeah, he got a tiny, tiny little file card. Okay, tiny little file card. Because he's a mine detector codenamed Tripwire. And it just says, Tripwire is proficient with all NATO and Warsaw Pact explosives, detonators, and blasting machines. That's literally everything it says on his file card. So he came with this Listen and Fun cassette tape. I'm shooting from the hip here because I'm too lazy to actually do, prep for the show. But the first thing I want to point out is he kind of looks like regular Tripwire, except he's all red, which actually makes you think he's a Cobra vehicle driver of some kind or something like that, like right off the bat when you see him.
Looks like the HISS tank driver.
Yeah, HISS driver, yes. From what I understand about the Listen and Fun, like there was an actual audio adventure on one side, and I think the other side was blank, where you're supposed to record your own audio adventure, which I know there's a Joe tape that does that.
I think that's the Special Mission Brazil.
I'm willing to believe you. So anyway, yeah, he's red. He looks a lot like the HISS driver. His usual mine detector backpack stuff is white. So when you get that red and white combo, he starts to look a little more like Lifeline. So yeah, it's that's an odd one. I've never seen one on the card. I don't know if I've ever seen one loose. I'm guessing I don't have him. I do not have him in my box of tricks, and I'm sure he's going to cost me a lot of money when I do add him to my box of tricks. Take it away, Jim.
Yeah, I've never seen one of these in person. That's how rare or uncommon they are. But yeah, it's a definitely unique color with the gray and then the two different reds on the figure. I've never seen it loose or in package. Matt, how about you?
I like Tripwire. It's one of my favorite character designs, but I've never seen this one in person anywhere. I know it's rare, so I am not even attempting to try to find it.
Quick eBay search tells me that depending on condition, you're looking at anywhere from $100 to $175.
No, I'm not, because I'm not looking for it.
I will be, and sooner than I'd like to.
If I can find one where someone doesn't know what they have, yeah, I'll get it.
As Jim knows, I've slowly been once a month, I buy a Joe that I don't have. And I started in 82 just to fill in the holes. I finished 82. I finished 83. I think I'm about to finish 84. So this one's coming up.
Oh, are you doing it in order?
Yeah, I'm doing it in order.
Oh, okay.
Once a month, I buy a Joe that I don't have, and it's like a game of roulette, because sometimes it's like, oh, here's a loose one, because I collect just loose guy. It doesn't matter to me. Here's a loose one for $20, and some days it's like, oh, here's a loose one for $100. Like, damn, man. So it's like a little game I play every month.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for that trip down memory lane. Now that we have reviewed and reacquainted ourselves with the G.I. Joe figures from 1985, it's time to choose our personal top 5 Joes from this year. So, Matt, I'm going to let you go first since you're the special guest. Jarrod's just special.
Okay, so are we talking figures or characters? That's two different things to me.
Make your choices, Matt.
Yes.
I got 2 lists. That's why you tell me which one you want.
We're going to go with figures.
All right. So figures for me, Airtight, just because he looks awesome. Got the mask, you got the respirator. Shipwreck. Can't not have Shipwreck on the list. Snake Eyes version 2, Dusty, and I absolutely love Tripwire's design. So those are my 5.
Jarrod, how about you?
Yeah, no particular order. Flint, Snake Eyes, Quick Kick, Lady J, Barbecue.
Wow.
Maybe Toll Booth instead of Barbecue there at the end.
Debating, weren't you?
I was.
There is a particular order because the last one is my favorite. Toll Booth, Barbecue, Flint, Snake Eyes, and Frostbite.
No
Quite a
Lady
wide
J,
variety.
but Frostbite. That's,
Sorry.
that's a wild world we're living in.
Sorry. Toll Booth, too. I mean, come on.
I think Frostbite's still alive, so there's that.
Not if he stays out in the cold too long.
Hey, let me ask you this, IDW guys, where I've never dabbled, and I don't know if I ever will. Is Lady J used?
In the Skybound?
In IDW.
In the Larry Hama universe or the actual just the IDW proper? Yes, for both.
Didn't know there was 2 different things.
Yeah.
Right.
And the IDW, the Chuck Dixon and all those, she is used.
So yeah, as I understood it, they basically just continued from 156, I guess.
155 and a half.
Well, okay, so
That's the Larry Hama version.
because they basically just pinched off, if you will, for lack of a better phrase, the Devil's Due.
Yeah.
Disavowed, I think they call it,
Yeah.
which makes me sad because it was such a good series, but I get it.
All right. So one more question, real quick. Which one left you with the strongest impression, either now or in 1985?
There's only one answer.
Jarrod.
Snake Eyes with Timber. It was, like I said, it was required. It was required. So as much of it fades into the background now because there's so many other interesting designs and whatever, it's Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes and Timber.
Matt.
Yeah, no, that was mine also. For me, Snake Eyes version 2 leaves such a huge impression for like character design, unique bits and bobs on the figure, getting into customizing. Yeah, Snake Eyes version 2 all the way for me.
I have to agree. The mystery of them in the cartoon, the mystery of them in the comics, even when I was going back to reading them, the whole mystery of them, great design. And to be honest, would the Joe brand be what it is today without that? Don't know.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
Just happy to look at my spreadsheet here and see that I do have them complete with file card.
Fancy. All right. Listeners, let us know what your top 5 favorite G.I. Joe team members are from 1985. Also, what are some of your overall memories from this lineup in 85? Jarrod and Matt, is there anything else you would like to bring up before we move on to our last segment?
I think we've gone long enough.
We've covered quite a bit. So
I think we're good.
All right. So that brings us to our final segment called Military Surplus.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Here at the Outpost, on each episode, besides discussing the toys, comics, or cartoons of the highlighted year, we discuss a peripheral item related to G.I. Joe. This episode, we are going to discuss the Find Your Fate books that were published from 1985 to 1986. These 20, which I was surprised when I looked that up, young adult books would allow you to make the decisions on how the story would end. This was an open world story that you were the main character in. These books had great cover art, just like the action figures and vehicles. Books 1 through 4 covers were drawn by Carl Kassler, and issues 5 through 20 were completed by the one and only Hector Garrido. And there are some recognizable writers on these books as well. So, Matt, Jarrod, did either of you have these as a kid? And I'm going to go to Matt first because I know the answer.
As a kid, I don't think I ever owned any of them, but I got a lot of them from the library multiple times. But like I showed Jim at the start of the show, I do have some of them now in a lovely little slipcase.
Who's fancy now?
I only have the first 4 and number 12, so I'm missing quite a few. They're fantastic.
How about you, Jarrod?
I'm pretty certain I had 1 or 2 of these. This really is ringing a nostalgia bell for me. Like, remember when you bring it home from school, the little books, leaflet like that you could buy because the book fair was coming.
The Scholastic Book Fair.
Scholastic Book Fair. I feel like those were in there, and I feel like I've gotten 1 or 2 of those when I was a kid because they were definitely circled. Some of these covers are ringing a bell. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I had 1 or 2 of these. I still remember circling like heavily the Ghostbusters storybook, which I still have, by the way, the Ghostbusters storybook from Scholastic. But back to G.I. Joe. These are super cool. I actually only own one Find Your Fate book now, and it's not G.I. Joe. It's James Bond. And I think I have R.L. Stine did some of the Bond ones as well. I don't know if Jim mentioned it specifically, but R.L. Stine did some of these Joe ones, but R.L. Stine did some Bond ones as well. And I have one. I have exactly one Find Your Fate book.
I think Bond. You'll probably hate me for this, but I think I've got an Indiana Jones Find Your Fate.
Oh man, that's cool to me. They're certainly super sweet. And you know, this is the reason that I work at the library once a week. Just keep waiting for some of these to come across my desk, and then it goes home in my lunchbox.
After it goes through the sand, right?
That's right. Yeah, bury it in the sand, and then I come back 2 days later. Jim, do you have any of these books?
I don't have any currently. I've seen them at shows, and they want a pretty penny for them. I'm waiting to walk into a used bookstore where some old lady doesn't know what she has and buy them for 50 cents a piece.
What are they running at the shows?
I think they're like 15 plus a piece.
Okay.
I've seen like those and like kind of like the little Transformers books from that time. They're usually between 10 and 20 a piece.
But I do remember getting a couple when I first started collecting the comics. I was in a bookstore and I picked up a couple. I remember reading them and thought, hey, these are pretty cool. Now, I want to point out, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but like on issues 5 through 20, many of these pictures on the books are just card art. If you look at some of them, like the Crimson Guard on issue, 6, that's the card art. Dr. Mindbender, I think, on number 9. Even Snake Eyes in number 10 over there. And he's in the Watchtower, and that's his card art. Definitely Hector Garrido, then they just kind of photoshopped them in. Still great cover art.
But. Yeah, just kind of pick it up, lift it, draw some other elements around it.
Then there's Destro in the snow with a Televiper. Those are both card art. Still pretty cool. And like I said, there's some R.L. Stine. There's some R.L. Stine and there's some Megan Stein, H.W. Stein. Are those different people? I know there's something they used a different name for a while or something, but I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're just other pen names or...
Yeah. I recognize they made Barbara and Scott Siegel. I recognize that also.
Yeah, for me, I've always loved the choose your own adventure type stories and everything. I even actually wrote a short G.I. Joe choose your own adventure based on these web-based.
You're much better at that than I am because I would know where to start. My daughter does some writing.
It's a short one with links at the bottom, what do? You survive or not? So it's basically you're a new Joe escaping Cobra Island.
Gotcha.
So here's another great podcast idea for you because that's all I do. I took the one James Bond one I had and I took to, I think it was X, and I went on our account there. And I went to the book and I went to the first decision and it was do you go left or right? So I just went on the X and I was like, do you go left or right? However the people responded, whichever one got voted, I made that decision. And then once I got all the decisions made, we actually recorded it. I read the story. Jason did his bad Sean Connery for Bond. Delvin was M. And I did all the audio effects, all this snow. You could hear the wind blowing and snowmobiles. It was pretty cool. So when we run out of content, guys, we can do the same thing with these G.I. Joe books.
One of the Joe guys I used to stop in and watch his live streams from time to time, he read a couple of the Find Your Fates. The audience would he would have a vote, do we go to page this or do we go to page that? And it's see if we can survive.
So to wrap up this segment, here we go picking again. We need to pick 5 of these books that we would be interested in reading at this time. Jarrod.
In the interest of time, give me the first 5. They're all cool to me, so just give me the first 5. Matt's got 4 of them.
Matt, how about you?
I legitimately don't care which ones I would pick as long as one of them was number 20. Because, come on, Serpentor and the Mummy Warrior.
I knew that would have been on your list.
I don't even care what it's about. I'm there. You have Serpentor and a Mummy Warrior. You sold me at Serpentor. That's like pizza with free garlic bread.
I have to admit, I'm kind of like you guys. If I found any of these, or even now, I'd pick up any of these books and read them. Just because they're so unique, and I don't care they're for teenagers, I'd read them.
Oh, without a doubt.
With that, Jarrod, any closing thoughts?
Man, this has just been a lot of fun to look at these classic sort of heyday Joe figures. And then, man, the surplus with those books, it makes me want to find those too. So this is an exciting, fun time of a great era of G.I. Joe.
Matt, any closing thoughts?
You know, it's like you guys said, for people, 85 is one of the top years. For me, 86 is number one. 85 is probably like 1.5. It's not even a full number two for me, because when I think G.I. Joe, I see these figures in front of the G.I. Joe logo. It's that iconic. So yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on for this one.
Thank you for joining us. Again, thank you for joining Jarrod, Matt, and myself for this episode of G.I. Joe Outpost. Matt and Jarrod, thank you for spending time discussing these characters from 1985. Matt, if our listeners wanted to contact you, where can they find you?
So if you're looking for me, I'm over on Blue Sky at Serpymatt, and basically that's where you'll find me doing a daily toy picture, everything from G.I. Joe to Transformers, and every Tuesday I try to get Vintage Toy Picture Tuesday going to get everybody sharing some classics.
Jarrod, if our listeners wanted to contact you, where can they find you?
Find me trying to convince Matt to use his X account to post the same picture. Matt's always trying to recruit me to Blue Sky, and I'm always trying to bring it back to X just so I can see his dang pictures. Anyways, I am at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram is all at Yard Sale Artist. You can also find me at your local Burger King. I love the onion rings. Jim?
You can find me on Facebook as Jim Miel, Jimmiel, and on X as Jim the Joe Junkie. I want to thank everyone at the LONGBOX CRUSADE Network for adding G.I.Joe Outpost to their extensive line of shows. Take a listen to all the other shows that are on the LONGBOX CRUSADE on any podcatcher or on YouTube. And if you like what you hear, go to Patreon, become a Crusader Club member, where you will get all the access. Join us next time, where we will be discussing issues 31, 32, and 33 of the G.I. Joe Marvel Comics, where Snake Eyes tries to take some R&R, the Baroness Major Blood's plan to assassinate Cobra Commander reaches its culmination, and the Joes have the grand reopening of the pit. So until next time, Yo Joe.
The music themes for this show are done by musical genius Joe November. Please check out his SoundCloud at Josephline99. That's Josephline 99. You will not regret it.
Outtakes.
Indeed. And Ball Neck was my nickname in college. So yeah, no further questions.
If your uncle still had some of those comics, probably. He'd be rich.
Right?
Yeah. I remember I was in high school, and he's like, yeah, you can have those comics. And my brother and I look at them, and my brother wasn't into them at the time, but I'm going through them going, New Mutants 87? Okay, I'll take that. Cable's first appearance? Yeah, I'll take that. My uncle's like, I don't care, whatever. I'm done reading them.
Yeah, so much to edit out for the longest show ever.
That's okay.
My uncle gave my brother and I a bunch of metal tins full of baseball cards when he was a kid. I think we pulled 2 Nolan Ryan rookie cards out of it.
Did you sell
All
them?
I'm getting from this is that I knew the wrong people, because nobody gave me
Well, that's what they gave you. They gave you that's all you got, but it's
What I miss?
It's airtight, so I did like you can't hear him.
Jeez. Oh boy.
It's very clever, I assure you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Easy for you to say.
That's all, folks.